Teeny Gamer here, and I just want to say real quick that thank you guys so much for all the support on the pre-release guide for Yanagi and Lighter. With that being said, it helped me reignite my passion to making more guide videos like this. So yeah, here's another one for you guys for Miyabi and Harumasa. So just like the last previous guide video, this is just going to be a basic guide on Miyabi and Harumasa. I'm just going to be suggesting you guys what disc set to run, what W engines you should run, what team options they have, etc, etc. It's basically just a normal guide video, basically to help you guys pre-farm for what is coming up ahead in version 1.4 to basically prepare yourself for Miyabi and Harumasa. So without any further ado, it's time to give my suggestions on both of these agents, starting off with Miyabi. So Miyabi, first and foremost, is a new attribute, Frost, and of course she's Anomaly, but Frost is literally just ice. Yeah, just think of it like ice, but with a fresh coat of paint. I mean, literally, her mechanics literally decrease ice res. Her additional ability literally decreases ice res on enemies when you do her charge attack, which is all the time because that is her main mechanic. She also increases ice damage when you ult. Yeah, this is literally just ice with a new coat of paint. Think of Frost as the cooler ice. No pun intended, but yeah, it's literally just ice. So with that in mind, let's talk about the teams that she is in. So Miyabi, Miyabi's teams, they mentioned it in the in the special program. She is support faction. So this is the same additional ability condition as Shuyan. So you basically, for your supports, you have a ton of great options. Nicole, still one of the best supports in the game, which is pretty cool. You have Reina. Reina is great. You get Victoria housekeeping. You also get as well Lucy, which is busted because it lets you get into Sons of Caledon, as well as Sokaku, but we don't count Sokaku because she's part of Section 6, so you can literally just link her up with Section 6, which is her additional ability. She also gets, speaking of Section 6, you get Yanagi and Harumasa. So, for Miyabi specifically, she's going to be really busted in those teams. Honestly, every partner that she can pair up with is honestly really good for her. So let's just give some examples. First off, let's talk about Reina. What does Reina get you? Lycon. Yeah, you can literally go Reina, Lycon, Miyabi, and that works. Because Miyabi's can literally link up with Reina. Reina's a support. Reina is Victoria housekeeping. Links up with Lycon. Lycon's also Victoria housekeeping. That's 3 out of 3. Yeah. Lycon decreases ice res and as well as increases the stun damage multiplier. This means that Miyabi's going to be critting to oblivion. Yeah. This means that Victoria housekeeping team is honestly really good for her. You can also, if you don't have Lycon, you can replace Lycon with like Ellen or something. You can basically just have like Miyabi become like an attribute support, and you can just have Ellen do all the front load damage for you. So you can just run like a double ice DPS team as well. That also works. But as for like her best possible team with Victoria housekeeping, definitely Reina Lycon. That is really good. She also has Nicole, not as good as Victoria housekeeping in my opinion, but Nicole still has some pretty great options like Ambi. Ambi is a great stunner, especially since she is free to play. So definitely Miyabi's best free to play team is going to be Nicole Ambi. That is going to be her best free to play team. But she also has another great free-to-play team with Section 6. Sokaku is free-to-play. You can literally get her by doing Shiyu defense. You can also do Harumasa, which you also get for free as well. So you can just do Miyabi, Harumasa, Sokaku, and then just get a Section 6 team right there. Pretty great for her. Literally is really detrimental for her, because like Sokaku can literally just buff ice damage for Miyabi. Miyabi goes crazy. Harumasa also gets an additional with his attribute. So literally, if anyone triggers attribute, Harumasa can just benefit from that, and Miyabi does that really well. Same with Cunning Hairs. I forgot to mention, but for Cunning Hairs, Nicole is great at getting corruption. Corruption is pretty easy for her to get, so you can literally just pair up with Miyabi. Miyabi's just gonna be doing disorder damage. It's pretty great overall. Last but not least, we have another supporter to talk about, Lucy. Lucy is really busted because it lets you get into Bernice. Bernice is honestly one of the best anomaly agents in the game. So you can literally just pair up Bernice with like Miyabi, and then she pops off too. You can also have Caesar, so you can just have like a hyper carry team with like Miyabi, Caesar, Lucy. So you can just do that, and that is your full SOC team, which is pretty great. You can also run Piper as well. Piper, Miyabi, Lucy, if you want the disorder, which is pretty great as well. So yeah, there are a lot of options that you can choose. Lighter also works too. I mean, dude, Lighter. I mean, I already talked about how good he is, but Lighter can literally decrease ice res, increase ice damage. Guess what Miyabi does? She does the same thing. Decreases ice res, increases ice damage. So yeah, this is gonna be benefiting her so well. But SOC definitely is her best when it comes to like team options. I would say that her best team is either SOC, so like Miyabi, Lucy, Caesar, or Miyabi, Lucy, Bernice, or Miyabi, Lucy, Lighter, or Section 6 with Miyabi, Yanagi, Sokaku. I forgot to mention about Yanagi. I kept her last for a reason. Yanagi is busted. She triggers disorders all the time. Guess what Miyabi wants? In her additional ability, she wants a disorder. Yanagi does that so well. She's literally the best disorder DPS in the game. She literally triggers it for free. All you have to do is literally just attack the enemy and you just get shocked for free. So yeah, really busted. Miyabi also, it looks like in the gameplay that she does trigger a lot of anomaly really fast. So yeah, they are a great pair together, and then you just like slap Sokaku in there, and then yeah, that team becomes like really busted. But that is her team options. She has pretty great options. I already listed all of them. I mean, even Nicole is good. You can literally just run Nicole and be Miyabi. That is like a great free-to-play team. Literally, you get that at the beginning of the game. You get that literally at the beginning of the game. You could just like run Miyabi, and you can just run like Nicole, Anby, and that'll carry you through the game if you're like a new player. Yeah, it's just so busted. So that is it for the support options. She just has great options. Definitely, if you do have at least some of these agents, you could definitely build a decent team out of her. Really great agent overall. But now it's time to talk about W engines. So for W engines, obviously her main W engine is Hailstorm Shrine. This is her best W engine. But let's say you don't have polychromes. Well, you could just run right here Electro Lip Gloss, which is a pretty great W engine. I would say this is her best W engine. I would say, of course, if you do not pull for Hailstorm Shrine, this is her best W engine. But AP as the stat, you literally get right here for her passive, you get anomaly or attribute. When a enemy gets afflicted by a attribute anomaly, you get a attack increase of 16%, and you also deal an additional 25% more damage to the target if it is at rank 5. At rank 1, it's 10% with 15, which is still pretty good anyway. So Electro Lip Gloss is honestly, in my opinion, one of the best BP engines in the game. BP stands for Battle Pass. But the Battle Pass W engine is honestly so busted. If you do have the spare $10, then yes, you can go for this. This is her best W engine. But then again, there are some people who don't buy the Battle Pass and well, do not want to grind the 30 levels. Yes, you have to be level 30 on the Battle Pass in order to get a Battle Pass weapon. So definitely, maybe some people don't want to grind the Battle Pass, and maybe some people don't want to spend money on the game, which is totally valid. But there are other W engines options out there too. But I would say Electro Lip Gloss is still the best W engine for her. If you do have the spare $10, honestly, just go for it. Because you literally, right here, you increase the attack. Miyabi's going to be doing a ton of damage anyway because she is a DPS agent. And she also gets 15% more damage on the target. And besides, it's when you trigger a attribute anomaly, she's going to be doing that consistently anyway because that is what her main gameplay is. She literally just does attribute anomalies all the time. It's what Miyabi does. So yeah, pretty great W engine. But let's say you don't have $10 to spare, and if you don't want to grind 30 levels, then you could just run Weeping Gemini. You literally get this by going into Box Galaxy and buying it. It's that easy. So what does Weeping Gemini do? It gives you increased attack, which is pretty great. And the W engine effect is honestly pretty good. So when a squad member inflicts attribute anomaly, this means that it doesn't have to be Miyabi. It could be someone like Yanagi. Yanagi triggers attribute anomalies all the time, so you can literally just swap between the two, which is pretty good. You can also do it with like Piper or Bernice or something like that, which is pretty great. It triggers all the time. You get a increase anomaly proficiency of 46 by stacking up to 4 times. And it gets expired when the enemy is recovers from stun or is defeated. But if you're running like a double anomaly team, yeah, they'll never get stunned anyway because you're just gonna be doing attribute anomaly damage all the time. So yeah, you're just gonna be getting the permanent 4 stacks. So this means that Weeping Gemini is the best free-to-play W engine. Yeah, you heard me right. This is the best free-to-play W engine. So, not only can you get it for free, you can get the 5. You can get the 5-star effect for free because you literally just go into Box Galaxy, you trade in all your mats to get a Weeping Gemini, and all you need are the puzzle pieces. That's it. That's all you need. And you literally get like one of the best free-to-play W engines in the game. It's so good. Honestly, I would say that this is a really good W engine. Definitely go for this. It is one of her best. Let's say though that you do have at least if you don't have enough polychromes to summon for a Hailstorm Shrine, or you don't have $10, but you somehow managed to pull a W engine from the standard banner, or, well, you lose your 50-50. Well, good news for you, Fusion Compiler is honestly really good. So, besides the pen ratio, it's not as great, but if you consider that Miyabi wants to do disorder damage anyway, pen ratio is honestly not a bad stat. Because pen ratio increases the damage of disorders, and she does disorders most of the time. Because, well, her teammates like Bernice and Yanagi trigger disorders all the time. So pen ratio increases the pen damage of disorder, which is pretty great because disorder gets scaled off of attack and pen. So yeah. As for the W engine effect, it's honestly pretty easy to trigger since it is just Miyabi. You can literally just get special or EX. It doesn't have to be like strictly EX. You could just do special. She does want to do her special anyway to do like a bunch of damage, but you get a increased AP of 25 for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. It's similar to Weeping Gemini, except that instead of lasting forever until the enemy recovers from stun or is defeated, you trigger this and you get it up to 8 seconds, but you just get a consistent at least 25 AP if you just keep up the trigger effect of the description. So yeah, it's really good overall. I would say this is the best 5-star or S-rank W engine, especially if you did lose your 50-50. This is honestly not a bad W engine to go for, but you can also get it with shop currency. I think it costs 600 shop currency, but honestly, if you don't have anything else, then I guess Fusion Compiler is good, but there is still better options, just like Weeping Gemini literally just gives you a lot for free, because you literally all you have to do is just go to Box Galaxy and just buy this thing. For this, you literally have to pull it on the gacha, and you have to well, if you don't want to pull it on the gacha, you have to spend 600 of your shop currency. Yeah, definitely not as worth it, but if you have a spare one lying around, you could just slap it on Miyabi and she performs fine anyway. And besides, the cherry on top of this W engine, 12% increased attack. No condition. So yeah, really good W engine overall. But I would say that you could just run like Weeping Gemini, which is a free instead of this. But again, as I said before, if you have one spare lying around, you can just slap this on her and she performs really well. And since it is an S rank W engine, it has more base attack than all the other W engines. So yeah, I see there like 500. Electro Lip Gloss is like 594. Fusion Compiler is 684. That's almost 700 attack. So yeah, if you want the high base attack, definitely Fusion Compiler is the way to go. Especially if you just have a spare one lying around. So yeah. And as it for the W engines, I would say that she does have pretty good W engine options if you don't go for Hailstorm Shrine. So yeah, all these three are pretty good. But now it's time to talk about the disc set. So first off, the first disc set is Branch and Blade Song. This is her main her main disc set. This honestly is made for her, and it's especially made for her because literally the design of the disc literally has the spirit that is flying around her. It's literally this. Yeah, that is on the discs. That is on the disc art. So yeah, this is literally made for her. So we can talk about it real quick. So the 2-piece bonus is crit damage. Pretty nice. It means that she's able to do more damage. The 4-piece set, when Anomaly Mastery exceeds or equals 115 points, the Clipper's crit damage increases by 30%. When any squad member applies freeze or triggers the shatter effect on an enemy, the Clipper's crit rate increases by 12%, lasting for 15 seconds. So this means that you literally, all you have to do is just reach 115. You get a free crit damage of 30%. When you trigger a freeze or a shatter effect, basically any squad member, mostly it's going to be Miyabi, because Miyabi is the character that is going to be using this set. You get a increased crit rate of 12%, lasting for 15 seconds. This is really consistent since by gameplay, it looks like she does trigger it constantly. Especially if you have to build her with Anomaly Mastery anyway. Literally, the 4-piece set literally makes you want to go for 115 Anomaly Mastery, so you are able to trigger the 30% crit damage increase. So this means that her best 4, 5, and 6 are honestly set in stone. So her best 4 disc is crit rate, crit damage. Obviously, if you're lacking on crit rate, go for crit rate. If you're lacking on crit damage, go for crit damage. Either of the two 4 discs main stats are really good. So it's either crit rate, crit damage. 5th disc, ice damage. Literally everything revolves around her is ice. Ice res, ice damage. Literally just give her ice damage. That is her best 5th disc. And her 6th disc, well, since it is set in stone, when you want AM equal or exceeds 115, the only logical thing that you should run on 6th disc is AM. And mostly every single anomaly agent runs AM. The more AM you have, the faster you trigger your anomaly attribute damage. And she wants to do freeze or shatter. This means that you must run AM. So yeah, all of her this main stats are set in stone for you, so that's basically really good, because now you know what discs to basically save and run. So yeah, pretty great. But definitely her 4-piece set is Branch and Blade Song. There's no other 4-piece set you would run. So yeah. But now it's time to talk about the 2-piece sets and potentially the 4-piece sets as well. Let's say that you're still grinding for Branch and Blade Song, and if you want like an immediate for this set, so let's say like, oh, I don't have Blade or Branch and Blade Song, but I want to use Miyabi immediately. 4-piece Polar Metal. This is her best 4-piece disc set for now, until you grind enough to get a good Branch and Blade Song 4-piece set. So Polar Metal is a decent substitute. You get 2-piece increase of ice damage bonus, which is pretty nice. And also when you do a basic and dash attack, you get to increase that by 28%. She does basic attacks all the time, so it's pretty great on her. When you trigger a freeze or shatter, you get to increase the damage by 28 more percent. So it's basically double. So yeah, this is honestly like a pretty good substitute for her new Set, Branch, and Blade Song, because you literally just do the same thing. You increase your basic attacks to do like a bajillion damage, and she wants to do a crit build anyway because her 4-piece set is literally a crit build. So yeah, this just increases all her damage so considerably. So if you just want a 4-piece or a 4-piece disc set to just slap on her while you're farming up her new disc set, Polar Metal is honestly a good substitute. You could just run 4-piece Polar Metal until you find your pieces for your Branch 4-piece set. So yeah. So that is it for basically all the 4 pieces. Now we can just talk about the 2 pieces. So speaking of the 2-piece, yeah, Polar Metal 2-piece is really good. So if you want to consistently increase her ice damage, yeah, 2-piece ice damage is the way to go. But let's say that you are kind of lacking on the crit rate department, you can run 2-piece Woodpecker. Really good. Increases your crit rate by 8%. Nothing to scoff at there. It's really, really good. So you can literally have the Branch's 2-piece crit damage with the increased crit damage as well and crit rate of this. And you just have a crit rate bonus right there for Woodpecker Electro. So literally you get to cover both bases on crit rate, crit damage, and you just become like a monster nuke. So yeah. But that is basically it for both of these. I would say that these two are a really good 2-piece set to go for, because literally you just have your 4-piece, and the 2-piece is either, if you want her to do more damage, ice damage. If you want her to have more crit rate, then 2-piece Woodpecker. There's literally no other W engines to run on her because she wants to run a crit build anyway. So the only thing that you can improve on is damage. So yeah, but in my personal opinion, I would say that 2-piece Woodpecker is honestly her best 2-piece set. But if you do have enough crit rate, then her best 2-piece set is definitely Polar Metal. Polar Metal will increase all your damage. It's just more consistent. But definitely, I would say Woodpecker Electro, because she does really want the crit rate, because her crit damage is going to be raised through the roof thanks to her 4-piece set. So yeah. And that's basically it for Miyabi. So now it's time to talk about Asaba Harumasa. So Harumasa, he's an electric attack agent, and we get him for free. This means that sadly Anton might be replaced with Asaba Harumasa. He is also by the way an event agent, so definitely try to at least log in to get your free Harumasa copy before he's gone. But with his electric attack, you think that, oh, maybe his additional ability condition is like electric faction, right? You're dead wrong. Because his additional ability condition is honestly really unique and really cool at the same time. So, well, in the special program, his additional ability condition is Stun Anomaly. Yeah, Stun Anomaly. This means that you basically have over half of the roster in the game. So yeah, so this means that well, I guess I could just list it here. So what does Harumasa's teammates, what does he have in terms of well, his teammate options? Anby, Kaleda, Grace, Lycon. You also have Jane, you have Chingy, you have Piper, you have Lighter as well. You also have Bernice, and then of course his fellow Section 6 members, Yanagi and Miyabi. So this means that you just have really good options. So Harumasa's additional ability, you want to either trigger Stun or an Attribute Anomaly. Those two are really easy to get. So this means that his team flexibility options are just really good. It means that he's just able to be ran on anything. So mainly for the most part, you probably want to run him with either a really good anomaly agent or a really good stun agent. So here are my suggestions for Harumasa right here. So definitely one of his best stunners is going to be Chingyi. Definitely 100% Chingyi. Chingyi increases stun damage multiplier, does like a bajillion damage to the enemy. So yeah, it's just really easy to get. And especially since Harumasa wants the enemy stun to do like his electro poison mechanic where he does the dash attack on an X'd enemy. This means that your damage is going to be raised through the roof thanks to Chingyi's debuff with the stun damage multiplier. It's just so busted. It's just really busted. So yeah, Chingyi, definitely his best teammate. He also has some pretty great teammates as well, other teammates. Anby is really good. He lets you lead to Nicole. Nicole's a great support too, so you can just have another good free-to-play team with Nicole, Anby, Harumasa. Pretty great overall. And since, again, as I said, Nicole triggers corruption consistently, you can just have really good synergy with Harumasa since he does want a attribute anomaly on the enemy. So you could just have corruption on the enemy. Harumasa does his thing. He gets the 2 poison stacks and he just does a bajillion damage. You can also have Anby stun the enemy too, which also leads the way for him to just do a bajillion damage as well. And since he is kind of a quick swap character, you could just do like all the dash attacks to consume all of the poison stacks. It works well with Nicole's additional ability, which lets you to, well, right there, just decrease the defense of the enemy. You can just quick swap into Harumasa and just do that. He also increases ether damage as well for her if you have her additional ability, which is great. It means that on top of the corruption, you're able to just do damage for Nicole. So it's pretty great in general. As for the Bellabog side, you have Kaleda, which is pretty great. I would say she is still a pretty good stunner. Grace as well, you have shock support. So honestly, you could just do shock with Grace. And you could just have the 2 poison stacks for Harumasa, which is also pretty good too. Kaleda can also stun and front load the enemy, which also gives you the 2 poison stacks. Pretty consistent overall. Lycon right here, he is a really fast stunner, so you can just stun the enemy really fast and then you can just have the 2 poison stacks again. So yeah, it's pretty consistent. You see what I mean by Harumasa can just work with anyone? Yeah, his main additional ability, like conditions, are just so easy to perform. Because the agents literally do what they're supposed to do. You can just do stun with your stun agents, or you could do attribute anomalies with your attribute like anomaly agents, which just get their job done anyway. But yeah, same with Jane. She can literally trigger assaults really good. So you can just pair her up with Harumasa, and then Harumasa just pops off again with the 2 poison stacks. Piper is easily able to trigger assault just like Jane, so you're able to just get the 2 poison stacks. Lighter, he stuns the enemy really fast too, and you can just, again, just get the 2 poison stacks. Bernice is able to burn the enemy really easily, again, free poison stacks. And then, of course, Yanagi is able to do shock, and then Miyabi, of course, is able to do shatter and freeze. It's pretty simple overall. But as for his other team options, with the stun and of course the anomaly, you're able to get other party members as well. I already mentioned that Anby gets Nicole. With Kaleda, you also get Anton, which Anton does want the enemy shocked, so he's able to do damage. Of course, Grace also allows you to get into Anton as well. So basically, these two can let you go into Anton. For Victoria Housekeeping, you're able to go into Ellen or Corin. But definitely, since Harumasa is probably going to be your main attacker anyway, probably Ellen might not be the best option. But you can go for someone like Reina. Reina increases pen for Harumasa. Harumasa does shock damage, which is pretty great. It means that you could just do Lycon Reina, the classic Victoria Housekeeping support combo team. So you could just basically, just like Miyabi, you could just do Lycon Reina and then Harumasa, which also works well for that as well. But maybe not Ellen and Corin, but Reina is a pretty great option. As for PubSec, with Chingyi, Of course, I already talked about how good she is. And Jane, of course. They let you lead into Seth. Seth increases AP and also gives shield. It means you can protect Harumasa. Shuyan, maybe not the best partner, but you can just run like a double DPS team. That also works too. Same with Ellen and Corrin, you can just run double DPS team. But unlike Ellen and Corrin, which want their field time, Shuyan doesn't need a lot of field time, so you can't just like mix in like Shuyan charge bullets with like Harumasa normals, so that can work as well. SOC Sense of Caledon with Bernice and Piper and Lighter, you're able to go into Lucy and Caesar. Caesar is still the best agent in the game, in my opinion. You can literally just pair her up with Harumasa. Yeah, it's just so busted. Super, super busted. Broken. Just so broken. So, yeah, you're able to get increased attack, and you get the shield. Lucy's also pretty great, too. You get her for free in 1.2. So, it's just really, really busted. Free 600 attack for Harumasa, and Harumasa is a DPS, so yeah. And, of course, his fellow Section 6, Miyabi is able to pair up with Sokaku, so it's just a free pair up. As for Yanagi, it's also a free pair up too, so yeah, it's just really, really good. So basically, his team options are just set in stone. They're just all good. He's able to link up with a lot of agents on his side, because literally Stun and Anomaly like take up like almost half of the roster. So yeah, he just has pretty great options in general. And as it for team options, now it's time to go over his W engine. So obviously his main W engine, Zacian Herb Case, is going to be his best W engine. But, I mean, it's not even out yet. So we don't know if it's good or not. But, mainly, he is going to be free to play. And maybe some people don't want to pull on his W engine and want to focus on all of their resources on Miyabi instead, which is totally understandable. I mean, he's free, so, well, why pull for his W engine when you could get something else, right? That's exactly what I was thinking. So, if you don't have the polychromes to spend on his W engine, then his next best W engine is Drill Rig Red Access. Yes, this is Anton's W engine. This works really, really well for some odd reason, and that's because it increases electric damage. So when you launch an EX special or a chain attack, this is going to be pretty easy for Harumasa anyway. You get electric damage from basic and dashes increased by 50%. All of his damage will come from basics, so it's going to be really, really good for him. And it's just really, really busted. 10 seconds of increased electric damage by 50%. If you have this at 5 stars, it literally becomes 80%. 80% electric damage on basic and dashes. Guess what Harumasa does? Remember his main mechanic, the electro poison thing? That's from his dash attack. This means that your dash attack right there gets a 50% increase bonus. 80% if it is a 5-star W engine. This is his best free-to-play W engine. 100%. This is his best W engine. His A rank. So yeah. But let's say you actually lost 50-50 on the banner for some reason, or if you have enough shop currency and you don't have like Anton's W engine for some reason. Well, your next best option is going to be the Brimstone. This is Soldier 11's best W engine. So with Soldier 11's W engine, you literally get attack %, which is pretty great. When you do a basic dash attack or dodge counter, which is pretty common in the game anyway, you get increased attack by 3.5% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 8 times. This means that all of your attacks are just going to be hitting hard because you just get more attack. More attack you have, the more damage you do. It's pretty self-explanatory. And since you're going to be doing basics, dashes, and dodges anyway, it's just free 8. It's just a free 8 stacks of attack. It's really, really busted, honestly. But the only downside is that you have to pull on gacha or you need 600 shop currency. Yep, that's literally it. So definitely drill run or drill rig is easier to get than the Brimstone, obviously, because the Brimstone is an S rank W engine and the drill rig is a rank W engine. So yeah, but mainly I guess if you don't want the energy regen, on your W engine because the main stat is energy regen, which is the ultimate downside of the drill rig. And if you just want more attack, then definitely the brimstone is for you, especially since you just get attack right here. You get attack from the passive. It's just attack, attack, attack. And the base attack is really high too, 684 compared to the 624 that you get from the drill rig. So yeah, brimstone honestly is, well, if you want the main stat to be attack, this is the best attack W engine, which is pretty great. But let's say you don't have drill rig or you don't have the brimstone and you want something more. Let's say you got the battle pass and you had like 10 bucks sparing around and you just got to level 30. You can run Cannon Rotor. This is the best, I would say one of the best A rank W engines if you don't want the energy regen main stat on the drill rig. So Cannon Rotor, what it does is increases your attack by 7.5. That is unconditional. When you land a crit on the enemy, you get an additional 200% of attack as damage. This means that you're just gonna be hitting so hard with Cannon Rotor. And also, to help you with that, you get an increased crit rate at 20% at max. This means that Cannon Rotor is honestly one of the best W engines if you want to consistently crit. And, well, Harumasa is a DPS, so you want crit damage on him. So Cannon Rotor, if you have the 10 bucks to spare and you just want to level up the Battle Pass to level 30 and just get a good W engine for him, Cannon Rotor is honestly the best. But, well, again, it's 10 bucks. It's the same downside as Miyabi's W engine, the Electro Lip Gloss. You can literally just, well, again, just spend 10 bucks. But some people don't have 10 bucks, so it might just be like a ultimate downside for the Cannon Rotor. It's just you have to spend 10 bucks, man. So yeah. So well, let's say you don't have 10 bucks and you don't have the battle pass. You don't have a brimstone, of course. You don't have enough shop currency, or you don't lose 50-50. And like Anton's W engine is not in a well, a W engine banner, and it's not rerun, and you don't have like a spare one lying around. Then the next best thing is Gilded Blossom. Gilded Blossom, if you did play on version 1.1, is a free-to-play W engine. This is obviously its best free-to-play W engine, because all the other W engines you pull for gacha. For drill rig, for brimstone, you have to pull for gacha or you spend 60 shop currency. Cannon Rotor, you literally have to spend 10 bucks. For Gilded Blossom, it's literally free-to-play. It's all free-to-play. So the effect is honestly pretty good. You increase attack, and also the 5-star effect, which is free because it is a free-to-play W engine. You just get this for free. You get to increase your attack by 9.6, and the damage you deal by EX specials is increased by 24. This is busted. It's really, really busted for a free-to-play W engine. Honestly, this is really good. Since Harumasa's EX kind of hits hard, you can just like run this, and yeah, and you get increased attack as well. So it's nothing to scoff at. This is honestly a really good free-to-play W engine. But players might like, well, not played during version 1.1, so maybe they won't have Gilded Blossom. So well, the next best thing is literally just try to go for Anton's W engine drill rig. Drill rig, I still think is the best W engine for Harumasa specifically. But if you did play at version 1.1, and if you don't want to spend any more, you just want to spend all your resources on Miyabi, Gilded Blossoms is honestly the best W engine to pick. It's a really, really good W engine. So yeah, and that's it for W engine suggestions. There are pretty good options. Again, drill rig, pretty great, increases your electric damage. You got the brimstone, which increases attack, and you also have Cannon Rotor, which increases your crit rate. And then Gilded Blossoms, which is a free-to-play W engine. So Harumasa has definitely like a bunch of W engine options to choose from. Just basically, I guess, just make sure he performs at his best. So yeah. As for, well, right here, this sets, let's talk about them. Thunder Metal. It should be a no-brainer as to why this is his best 4-piece set. Literally increases electric damage on his 2-piece, and you literally increase the damage of your attack by 27% if the enemy is shocked. Guess what the enemy is gonna be? well, having a lot, he's just gonna be shocked all the time because it's Harumasa. So yeah, 4-piece Thunder Metal honestly might be his best set, but some people might say it's not his best set. So, well, the next best set is Woodpecker Electro. So, when you trigger a critical hit with a basic dodge or EX, you get to increase the attack by 9% for 6 seconds. So, this is calculated separately, so you can get a max of 3 stacks of attack percent for this. The 2-piece is nothing to scoff at either. Crit rate 8%. I mean, there's nothing to scoff at there. But you get to increase your damage up to 3 times by via attack percent, which is really, really good. He's going to be hitting a lot with basics, dodges, and EXs anyway, so this is just a good, a really, really good this set to run. So basically you just have you basically have like 2 great options. You can either, if you see yourself shocking the enemy a lot, you can go for Thunder Metal, which is pretty great. Or if you see yourself just doing like consistent damage, then you just go like Woodpecker Electro. But his 4-piece set, honestly, you can either go with Thunder Metal or Woodpecker Electro. Those are his best 4-piece sets in my opinion. So yeah. And as for the best 2-piece set, so if you go with Thunder Metal as your 4-piece, his best 2-piece set is either Woodpecker Electro or the new 2-piece set, which is Branch and Blade Song, which is Miyabi's this set. It gives you crit damage for Branch, and for Woodpecker 8% crit rate. So yeah, it's basically a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer 2-piece set. You want him to do crit damage, you want him to basically crit all the time. So yeah, either Woodpecker or Branch is really good for Thunder Metal. And if you go for Woodpecker Electro as your 4-piece, then you want to run right here either 2-piece Thunder Metal or 2-piece Branch. So yes, all of these basically just increases damage. So basically, well, to summarize, if you want to run 4-piece Thunder Metal, run 2-piece Woodpecker or Branch, depending on what you need. If you run Woodpecker Electro, you can run crit damage if you want more crit damage. If you want him to do more consistent damage, then you can just run 2-piece electric damage bonus. But that's basically it for all the disc sets, and that is it in general for this guide video. But I will just summarize everything here and just give my final analyses. So Miyabi is pretty great overall. She has some pretty good options and teams right here. She has supports and factions, so she gets access to like Yanagi, Sokaku. With support, she also gets access to Nicole, Reina as well, and Lucy, which also leads to a bunch of great agents like Caesar, Bernice, as well as Lighter. You could also get Lycon as well. So yeah, it's pretty great for her. She also gets pretty great W engines as well. Besides her main one, she gets Electro Lip Gloss. If you have the spare BP, you can go for that. You can go for Whipping Gemini. It's pretty great. You literally get it by going into Box Galaxy and buying it. It's pretty easy to get. Fusion Compiler, if you have a spare one lying around, or if you have shop currency, you can get this as well. It's pretty great. As for the disc sets for her, Branch and Blade Song is going to be her main 4-piece set. If you are still trying to grind for the Branch, you can go for 4-piece Polar Metal. It's a great substitute when you are trying to grind for Branch, because you can just use her straight off the gate if you have 4-piece Polar Metal while you're just grinding for the new set. As for the best 2-piece set, you can either go for Woodpecker, or you can go for Polar Metal. Depends on what you need. If you want her to do more damage consistently, you can just do ice damage. If you want her to crit more, you can go for Woodpecker Electro 2-piece. As for Asaba Harumasa, he has pretty great team options. His additional ability needs support and anomaly, but that leads into great options like Nicole. You're able to go into Kaleda Grace, which is pretty great. You can go into Reina with Lycon. You can also go into Seth with Chingy and Jane for Sons of Caledon. You can go for Lucy which is pretty good. Bernice can also lead you to Caesar. Both of these agents are just really good. And then for his Section 6 compadres, you could go with Miyabi and Yanagi. Miyabi can also lead you to Sokaku. So yeah, pretty great team options in general. As for his W engine, besides his main one, of course, if you have a bunch of extra drill rigs, especially since Anton's W engine is pretty common in the summoning pool, you can just use drill rig. It gives him electric damage, which is pretty good. If you have a spare shop currency, and if you lost your 50-50, similar to Miyabi, you could just go like Brimstone. You can increase the attack of him, which is pretty nice. It's easy to trigger his description. Yeah, right here you can literally just do basic dash attacks and dodges. It's just really easy to trigger Brimstone. If you don't have that, then you could just run Cannon Rotor if you have the spare $10 for BP. Really good crit rate. W engine, pretty nice. If you did play 1.1, you can also run Gilded Blossoms, especially if you don't want to spend any money and if you don't want to waste any resources. Gilded Blossoms is honestly a really good W engine. It's his best free-to-play W engine, of course. As for the disc sets right here, Thunder Metal is his best 4-piece set. If you don't want to run Thunder Metal, then Woodpecker Electro is his best 4-piece set. It really depends on what you want to build your Harumasa as, but in my opinion, Thunder Metal is his best 4-piece set. As for 2-piece set, if you're running Thunder Metal, then you can just run 2-piece Woodpecker or 2-piece Branch for either crit rate or crit damage, depending on what your Harumasa needs. If you run Woodpecker Electro 4-piece, then you can run Thunder for consistent electric damage, or crit damage from the Branch, which helps out him with his DPSing. So yeah. And that is it for this guide video. There is only one thing left to say to you guys before this video ends. Good luck to everyone. If you're summoning for Hoshimi Miyabi, if you're summoning for Harumasa's W engine, or if you want extra dupes of either Miyabi or Harumasa, good luck to everyone who is pulling. I wish you the best in your pulls, and hopefully either Miyabi or Harumasa will come home into your roster. So yeah. Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching this pre-guide video. I hope you guys enjoyed my guide. If you do want to see more guides like this in the future, and if you want to support the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. It really does mean a lot if you do like and subscribe. It really does help me keep me motivated and making more videos and pumping out content for you guys. So again, if you guys support the channel, thank you guys so much. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. As for the comment section, what do you think about Miyabi and Harumasa? You think they're busted? You think they're not? What do you think about the guide video? Think it's informative? If you think that I missed anything, make sure to leave it down in the comments down below. It really is helpful. I just want this video to be like the best guide video possible. So if you think I missed anything, or if you want to like bring up a bunch of things, like maybe I got some of the W engines wrong, or there are more W engines or disc sets that you can recommend to people in the comments, make sure to do that. I will try to respond to as many of you as I can. And let's try to make this guide the best guide possible. So yeah. And as always, thank you guys for watching this Miyabi and Harumasa guide pre-release video. And I'll see you guys in the next gotcha video.